In a victory for the White House months out from the presidential election, America's highest court has upheld the president's contentious overhaul of health care as constitutional. The ruling by a divided US Supreme Court stunned Barack Obama's Republican and Tea Party critics, as Washington correspondent Craig McMurtry reports.
It was a rare day of elation and relief at the White House.
The highest court in the land has now spoken. We will continue to implement this law.
The legal fight's over, but America's polarising political scrap over health care goes on.
What the court did not do on its last day in session, I will do on my first day if elected President of the United States. And that is, I will act to repeal Obamacare.
Earlier outside the Supreme Court there was confusion. Some prayed for it to be struck down.
And Father, this is a time for your people to humble themselves.
Others cheered when they thought it was. Only to discover moments later that on a 5-4 ruling, Barack Obama's healthcare overhaul had survived.
They incorrectly ruled that this is a tax, and they have allowed it to stand on that basis.
To the delight of supporters and horror of conservatives, Bush appointee Chief Justice John Roberts turned out to be the decisive vote. He ruled that the most contested element, the so-called individual mandate, requiring Americans to buy health insurance or face a penalty, is constitutional, not under the Commerce Clause, as the administration had argued, but as a tax, writing, "The Affordable Cares Act requirement that certain individuals pay a financial penalty for not obtaining health insurance may reasonably be characterised as a tax. Because the Constitution permits such a tax, it is not our role to forbid it or to pass upon its wisdom or fairness."
Sadly, incomprehensibly, this court ruled today that that decision will stand without a shadow.
This is really good for our candidate, Mitt Romney. Over the next 4 months, the enthusiasm, the get out the vote effort, the people that understand that the only way to get rid of this monstrosity of a law is to elect Mitt Romney, the 45th President of the United States.
For lawyer Karen Harnett, it was a bitter disappointment after a 2-year slog. Her small business group was one of the plaintiffs in the landmark case.
Everything. In this instance, they didn't even tell the American public it was a tax when they were taxing them. They said specifically it was not a tax. And so that is very disturbing to the small business owners I represent.
Despite everything that was at stake for this president, his legacy and re-election prospects, such as the secrecy of the Supreme Court, there was no advance notice for Barack Obama. The White House found out at the same time as everyone else.
I know there will be a lot of discussion today about the politics of all this, about who won and who lost. But that discussion completely misses the point. Whatever the politics, today's decision was a victory for people all over this country, whose lives will be more secure because of this law and the Supreme Court's decision to uphold it.
The ruling means the president's signature achievement, overhauling health insurance and extending cover to more than 30 million Americans, survives largely intact.
I am so happy. I'm so excited. I was hugging strangers after hearing the ruling. We were just ecstatic. It was the right thing to do.
But it also offers US voters a stark choice this November.
They don't care that the president broke his promise, that the Congress lied about not raising taxes on the middle class. They don't care. This is the mindless zombies chanting. They don't care what the court actually said.
Polls show Americans remain deeply divided over health care. The Supreme Court ruling has handed the White House a victory, and the Tea Party and Conservatives a cause to rally around. Craig McMurtry, Lateline.